Welcome to Le Mans Classic. Never in a million years did I think I'd be opening a video looking quite like this, but if we just have a quick look around us, I've been in some pretty surreal situations, but today RM have arranged for us to get in, quote, any car we want. So if you were presented with this opportunity there, we could choose from any of these cars and any of those cars over there. So we're just working our way through the pack, and George and I are going to pick separate cars to go in. We're going to do a lap of Le Mans during the Classic before we show you some next level, very special cars. Let's do it. Already got premature helmet hair. We've been hanging around this paddock for a while, so we decided to decant the lid. George and I, having exquisite tasting cars, have gone and opted for the 812 Superfast, and George is hopping in a 488 Spider, no less, because we only have one car between us. Judging by the cars that we're surrounded by, this is going to be like real life Forza Horizon. We're surrounded by some incredible cars. I'm very, very excited, as always, to bring you guys along. So there's George. So here we are. Straight onto the middle of the Porsche curves. I never thought my first time on the Le Mans circuit would be passengering in. Wow, listen to that. Wow, we're not hanging around, everyone's really on it. What a fabulous occasion. Like I said, it's like real life Forza. Look, we're just close proximity here with the GTC4 Lusso. This Porsche's flat out and we're just dispatching that like it stood still. Mikey, here we are. 238. Yeah, we're not hanging around there. Wow. Flat out. Oh wow, that's incredible. Dude, how ridiculous was that?
Amazing. Amazing.
So George has just told me he topped our top speed. What is that? So you did what, 300 and something?
302 kilometers an hour.
Mate. Well, my excuse is I wasn't driving. So, we are conveniently now mid-paddock and we're heading over to what we're kind of here for, really. We're going to see the Global Endurance Legends paddock. This is the stuff that I grew up with and aspired to when I was learning to drive. So we won't give away too much until we get there. But what a way to start the day, George.
Saturday morning is complete, yeah. Feel
awake now?
Yeah.
Espresso what? So, as far as smiles go, this is one of my hero cars. It's quite appropriate and good timing actually. If you're following this channel over the last few weeks, you'll know that I've had the incredible luxury and honor of being able to collect a Ferrari F12 TDF recently. The significance of it is the bloodline kind of flows from here. That car has taken a lot of inspiration from Ferrari's XX program. It's filtered down from the 599XX. This you can kind of think of the equivalent of racing a Ferrari F12 TDF now. So imagine taking the TDF and then giving it to somebody like ProDrive and saying turn that into a fully fledged race car. Now you know how that car sounds. Come and check this out. These are 600 horsepower, naturally aspirated Ferrari V12, driver's head here, side exit exhaust right here. so in terms of sense of occasion, the sound of these things is absolutely incredible to have it right next to you. This car as well, quite special. It has some special names on that most of you will know. The late great Mr. Colin McRae has pedalled this one. I've recently had the honor of getting to know Darren Turner, who now drives for Aston Martin in their World Endurance Championship GTE cars. So very special car, lots of history, very poignant for me personally, because it was, as I mentioned, it was my hero car when I was learning to drive. Incredibly special. Speaking of significant cars, not sure if you guys watched the video before this one. We started at McLaren HQ, the MTC, where we started right next to a 1995 Le Mans winning McLaren F1 GTR. There's only one more of those here, which is the Lark, super famous car here. Just to see one of these outside of a showroom is fantastic. I've got to give big props to Andy, the guy who owns and is driving it in this race. It's also being looked after by Lanzante, who you guys may be familiar with, creating the recent P1 LM that set the Nürburgring lap record last year. So significant cars all around. So, we're not ones to be lazy, but we're doing about 10 miles a day by foot around the Le Mans Classic. It's 32 degrees, so Le Mans have given us some very fancy transport. So, for those of you guys who don't recognize Sam with his glorious helmet on, Sam most recently joined me in the R8 in the Arctic Circle.
Yes.
When we went ice driving. And here he is, pro photographer at the Le Mans Classic. Pretty cool. Oh, I'm getting choked out here with you. Let me just tell you something. In 2011, on the Gumball Rally, I drove from London to Istanbul. And when I arrived in Istanbul, it was absolute chaos. Like, I actually had a taxi driver lean out of his window and tap on my bonnet to let me know he was there. Now we're in Le Mans during the Classic, and I think it's just topped the crazy list. There are people ducking and weaving and diving. Like, we got like fully grown men on monkey bikes weaving through traffic between like multi-million-pound classic cars. We're in a golf cart. I'm coughing on fumes and God knows what. But I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world. It's absolutely fantastic. This is twice now in a few days we sat down to talk watches.
Yeah, it's becoming a bit of a habit.
That's a nice habit.
Oh yeah, of course. It's one of those things where no matter what, a good Swiss watch will always generate a good
in-depth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to provide you guys some maybe surprising insight, because George has just been telling me about a particular watch that you spotted that you want to buy. How old are you?
19.
So I didn't buy my first watch until I was 30. I swear. So hear me out. It's not that I've seen them as, it's not a frivolous thing, but I've always seen them as this is a point in time that they're so expensive when you start getting into like a proper watch.
Well, case in point.
Well, this is a different ballgame entirely. But the watch that for me was when I turned 30. So it marked this point in time, and up till that point, I'd always needed the cash. I was developing a business, or I was growing something, or the cash was better allocated elsewhere. And every time I was like, oh man, I can just do with that. France just scored.
Yeah. It is the quarterfinals of the World Cup, and we are in France at Le Mans. So, yeah.
For me, if you're going to be putting that much cash into something, it's something to keep, it's something to cherish. And I think it's things that every time you look at it, you want to be like, that was a moment.
That
you know
was
what I mean? I think if you fall into this trap of buying it because you want to be baller and you want to have some serious like wrist porn.
Exhibit A, yeah.
Exhibit A. I mean, which is like, if you're at that level, which by the way, I'm not the guy to be dropping 170 grand on a watch anytime soon, then cool, and you can mark an occasion with that. But like, I know people in the watch world who they've just had a new baby boy or a girl born, and they go and mark it with a watch, and it's literally, it's sort of capturing that moment in time. And I think that's really nice. If you can have a significant moment in your life and mark it with an occasion that is part of you, I think that's great.
Well, it's my watch here.
Yeah.
Got it when I was 18. Could barely afford it, stretched myself so thin, but I will never get rid of it because
that's the most important thing.
I was 18, I thought, right, I'm just going to put my money into something that I want to, and make a huge financial irresponsible decision.
So what I'm saying is, you've got loads of time. Like, there will always be watches. Yeah. Excuse the pun. Also, can we just acknowledge where we are a second? I was just saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get swept up in the moment of capturing this so that we can share it with you guys so much that it can sometimes pass us by.
Yeah. So we're currently selling a Richard Mille hospitality suite in Le Mans in France with plus 30 degrees weather outside, and I can see Ferrari 250 bread van and Group C Le Mans
literally
cars.
4 250 short wheelbases just drove past us in succession. Yeah.
I don't know, it's up there.
One of those things. When the morning Okay, that is it for our time at the Le Mans Classic. There is another day, it's Saturday today, but we now have to hit the road back in the McLaren 720S to drive all the way back to the UK in time for the Silverstone Grand Prix tomorrow morning. As always guys, thanks for watching. I shall see you next time. Ciao.